Okay, so what we're going to talk about is the 4 or 5 questions that we just discussed as far as the school vision and the campus vision. Okay, so it'll basically just be a back and forth discussion between everybody and about how we acknowledge those people and what we do to enhance the school vision during the year, beginning of the year, end of the year, whatever. So the first question that we're going to look at is, how does the campus acknowledge, recognize, and celebrate those who implement strategies in support of the campus vision? And don't all answer at once.
How does the school recognize?
How does, yeah, everything right now will be just the school, not the district, not anywhere else, just the school.
Our leader acknowledges, our principal acknowledges our accomplishments and our implementations of the ideas that she wants to put forth to the children from the teachers, to the students.
Well, I think in the beginning of the year, she has her mission that she would like for the school, yes, and then lays it out for us. And she gives us she wants our input on it, whether, hey, can we do this, can we not? Yeah. And we go from there. That's in the beginning.
But we're acknowledged on various levels. We're acknowledged within our grade level teams. We're acknowledged during PLC meetings, during staff meetings.
One-on-one.
One-on-one. And she makes an effort to kind of go see you in your classroom, whether she's giving you praise in front of peers or just even individually. She acknowledges everything that you pretty much do and makes a conscious effort to do that.
And this is instructional and non-instructional. She is very good with non-instructional staff at this school.
And I think what she has done is she's developed a culture where that type of behavior is kind of almost expected from everybody. So much like a teacher in the classroom kind of sets the tone for her class, she's kind of done that with the building. And so you'll often get a lot of feedback from coworkers or people within your grade level. So you're acknowledged on basically every single level.
And now, I know how she interacts with the building or with special area. What does she do as far as like grade level for you guys or non-instructional for you?
How does she acknowledge us?
Yeah. Like how does she interact with you guys? I know how she interacts with Eric and I and Linda, whatever. What does she do, like grade level wise or PLC team wise, whatever that you guys meet with? Because obviously I don't ever see that side of it.
Well, I don't know if this is pretty much a grade level, but I know I can say like individually. And I really have enjoyed it, like where she'll send, where we've received just cards, just I really loved, how you did this, positive feedback, always. Positive. Everything is always positive. I mean, even if she has an idea or recommendation or something, she always makes sure to emphasize, what you're doing wonderful, the positive feedback that she gives us. So, like, I'm sure that we've all gotten in our mailbox, cards from her just saying, I really loved, this lesson that you did with the kids, or I really liked, the way you interacted, with this child in the hallway, or just that positive feedback of things that you didn't even know she paid attention to or saw or recognized.
So non-threatening.
So I should be upset if I didn't get a card?
Yeah, she possesses a non-threatening atmosphere where you can make a mistake and be like, oh gosh.
Yes.
And she'll turn it into a positive one somehow.
And I think it all goes back to that culture that she's created from day one. Having that culture in any building is fundamental, because I've been in different buildings where that culture doesn't exist,
right, exactly.
Where you really don't even know, like people that you're working with, you don't get much acknowledgement for the things that you accomplish or good things that you do. They go unnoticed, and it's so different than when you work in a building where even the little things, you're getting a thank you or a pat on the back.
She'll email you. She'll throw a text,
emails,
a card.
Yeah, I can remember when I was at Dearborn High, and I came here, and the first day where she came in, and we sat in the meeting, and she's like, your family comes first. And I'm like, whatever.
Oh, yes.
And then a couple weeks later, I needed to do something. She's like, I already told you, family's first. Go do it. I was like,
Well, I was gonna say, she acknowledges you even, not just on an instructional level. Because I remember when Nimrodine missed the literacy night the first year.
Yes.
I came in to the next morning, and on my chair was a book and a little stuffed animal that said, "Sorry, you missed." It was for Nimrodine, obviously, saying, "Sorry, you missed literacy night." And she just acknowledges you even on a personal level.
Yes.
And so you're connected, and you just, she's amazing. But
She
like,
is.
she's given me books. If she knew I was working on something in terms of grad school, she has deliberately given me a specific book. Like, just the little things she's done. She sent cards, she sent emails, she has even shot me texts here and there. A Facebook comment here, like just acknowledging. So she reaches out through social media. I mean, you name it, she does it.
Yeah.
Even during parent-teacher conferences, she'll give us water and a cookie.
Yes, she'll come in.
And sticky note, good luck.
Yes.
Do you need anything?
Yeah.
I mean, so it's just...
And back to the question when you were asking about like as far as like a PLC, a grade level team, she'll give us feedback on our PLC sheet that we fill out, you know, your team is awesome. I love what you're doing. Keep it up, you know, and she'll come in and give us a bag of skinny popcorn, water, you know.
Ice cream.
Yeah, ice
Ice
cream.
cream.
She'll just come in, you know, she'll take that extra time and effort and do these little things that really, they
Really
mean a
make a
lot. They're
difference.
meaningful.
Oh,
They
yeah,
do make a
yeah.
difference.
Right.
You know, go ahead.
She created an environment where it's not like she's our boss
Yeah.
and we're all her subjects.
Yeah.
We're totally a team, which she just did
But
a
she is
great
fully
job.
respected.
Fully
Yeah.
respected.
Fully
Yeah, Eric
respected.
and I
She's not a
talk all the
micromanage.
time about how,
Right.
how great, anytime she needs something, it's done because
Yeah.
she's so good to us.
Absolutely.
right.
When
You can't
someone
say
is-
no.
You can't say no.
No,
When
well, you
someone's
could, but that would
I
be
mean-
very smart. Yeah, what's the point?
And
You
she
don't
is,
want to say no.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
And she is very good about asking questions. If she doesn't know why something has to be done or was done, she has come to me many times to ask questions about food service and why we cannot do this or why did you do that. She wants to know. She wants that knowledge. She wants the same knowledge that we have.
And she trusts you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the nice
Yes.
thing that
That's
I've
the
gotten.
number one
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Trust. Yes.
And trust. And going off what Debbie was saying too, I remember so many times where she'll come and specifically ask because this was a new culture to her too.
Yeah.
She's never worked with with Arab Muslims before, and so she had so many questions about what is Ramadan and what is Eid and what can we do and to celebrate that or to help the kids or just to have a better understanding so she'll know
Right.
how to move forward. And I really respect that about her too. And then just like you said, like with her being so positive all the time, and I know this for all of us, she's earned our respect, so we only want to work harder. For some people you think, maybe they think, she's, nice enough that she can
Right.
slack off, but I think it's the opposite. I think
Definitely
like you
not.
want to do better. You want to show like we have a great leader and look what we can do.
Right.
Yeah.
With our great leader.
Yes,
As a
she's,
team.
she's very lenient about what she lets the teachers do in their classroom. They can go outside of the box. It's not strict.
But
It's-
all the while maintaining, very high expectations.
Oh, yes.
I will say that
Yes.
I've worked with various administrators throughout the district in various different schools, and you have the ones that are personable and the ones that are approachable and ones that are not. But I can honestly say Sue has high expectations. That unlike many that I've worked with, hers are very realistic, but they're also very demanding. And she may not directly and forwardly ask you to do certain things a certain way. She allows for that flexibility, but she constantly reminds you of the mission at hand and the vision and the expectations that she has. So having someone who's able to be flexible and lenient and be, for lack of better words, just flat out kind, it pushes you to meet those expectations.
Yeah.
Yes, everything is for the students.
Yep.
Everything is for the students to learn and to be able to cope in life.
And every question at the end of everything she says, even regardless of what it is, and I'm sure she said it to you in the kitchen, how is this good for the kids? Let's
Yes.
every single time,
Yes.
like at the end of every conversation, how is this good for kids? Is this what's good for kids? Okay, then let's do this.
She even went as far as going to a couple of my students' homes and read to them and their siblings.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
She did that, I think, for the month of reading
Oh,
month.
March.
Reading.
Yeah,
March is reading
she
month.
made it an effort. You sign up for a time. She shows up. She buys you a specific book. that is geared toward that kid. Okay, so I know she went, when she read to my son, she picked out a book that the name almost sounded like his name, and it was about this little Arab kid. It was really cute. But she made an effort to like go read a book that she thought would be relevant to that kid in the middle of March Reading Month.
Yeah.
Who
And-
does that?
Yeah, and I remember too, same thing, you know, when there was a couple of students that she was going to read to from my class, she asked my opinion, you know, what book do you think she'll like better out of these books? Will you help me choose a book? And then she gives them these books. And so, you know, not only acknowledging staff, but she's acknowledging the kids too, you know. She's, you know, accomplishments too. She loves it when even, you know, we send the students to her and say, you know, look what I can do, look what I can read, look what I wrote. You know, and they'll come back, like, regardless of whether it's just a treat or she'll come in and say, I love what you're doing, I love the work. I remember this one time she was observing me and she saw some writing samples that I had on my desk. And it was a comparison from beginning of the year, it was the beginning of the year to the mid-year. And she literally stopped and was just like, I need to acknowledge, you know, your hard work and their hard work.
Nice.
And she was like, I would like to read and show some of these samples and show the differences,
Right.
you know, to the students and to you. She like had me sit like as part of the kids, you know. I want you to see, you know, like this is your hard work and their hard work all together, and look what you've accomplished. So.
Nice.
That's
Now,
amazing.
do your grade level teams like acknowledge each other, or is it mostly from Sue down? Do you know what I mean? I mean, I know that you guys, grade level guys, all work together as a team. So say the STEAM Expo or whatever, is that sort of acknowledged back and forth about, hey, you know, we did this, whatever, or is it more of a we do everything as a team and then, you know, sort of get out to the school and the school responds or Sue responds, or is it more one directional from Sue down, or does it kind of go spider around the building? Does that make sense?
I think with Sue, it's very back and forth, and any idea you have, shoot it out there. Shoot it out into the universe. She doesn't care what it is. I remember when the whole STEAM initiative began, it all just started out. She asked me how my trip to Denver went. That's literally how it went. She's like, how'd Denver go? And I was like, I loved it. This is what happened. She said, I want you to share that at the staff meeting. And that's all it started off with. Just share it with your grade level and share it. She was like, because I think this is where we need to go. Apparently she had experience or some knowledge about it prior to. And so when I had mentioned it, she's like, okay, we need to bring this. So it's just something with ideas. She wants you to shoot them out, regardless of how good or bad you may think they are.
Well, it's all about trial and error.
Yeah, and
If it
she
works,
wants you
great.
to try it. If it doesn't work, even if she doesn't agree with it. I mean, there have been times where she's like, I don't know if this is going to work, but wait, the whole staff with like Project Lead the Way, she's like, I don't know if we can get there. But we had almost a 99% vote of, yeah, bring it. She's like, the staff wants it, okay, do it. And so ideas are shot up through grade level teams, but also, I mean, Gina and I talk, and she's in third grade, and I'm in kindergarten. So, I mean, it's just,
Everybody bounces.
Yeah, see,
It
because
bounces,
yeah, because that's what I didn't really know. Like, I mean,
Ah.
you know, again, Eric and I and Lynn and I talk or whatever, and I'll talk with you a lot, and I'll talk with you a lot. But idea-wise, we don't throw a whole lot of ideas out there. We're sort of take the idea and then try to arrange to make the things happen. You know, so I don't know.
Well,
how
that's
we're-
not necessarily true. You guys did the math this year.
Yeah.
You're-
literacy.
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
part of the committee.
Well, it's no.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's
Yeah.
kind of what we do.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
that's how we bounce ideas, just like what you guys did.
I
for the
think
math
what's
literacy.
great about with the type of climate Sue has built is that she's allowed for, and I'm not saying this has never happened before, but in the past things have been somewhat segregated. Kindergarten did this, third grade did that, second grade did this. But what happened, I think, especially this year, even very different from last year, is that we've come up with something, and it's the whole STEAM initiative, that regardless of what you've done, you are required to interact on a school-wide level. And so we're not only interacting with grade levels all across, like K through 3, but now you're involving enrichment teachers, music teachers, all on the same initiative. And so think about it. You built a lemonade stand, music teachers singing about lemonade. You got the art teacher up there creating all these lemonade artistic things, and then a whole literacy book is read from K through 3. I mean, and then in our classrooms, we're talking about the character qualities that we want them to have. We're talking about core values. I mean, that's a whole school-wide thing. And then you have third graders running down to kindergarten saying, I want to see the lemonade stand. First graders talking to second graders. So, I mean, what you have is a school-wide initiative that every single kid and every single teacher is now collaborating on.
And even this year, third grade took the initiative to help the second grade students, the first grade students. We haven't reached kindergarten yet, but just like when you get your computers, like are the iPads. So that's that's a whole
and the first graders were selling things to second grade students that they had gathered up and made and had their I don't know exactly what the lesson plan was.
Producers and consumers.
Okay, that was going on between first and second grade.
And they came at third too.
Oh.
So, yeah.
And I know Linda and I, for example, have discussed throughout the year, like, okay, so, what are you working on in math or what are you working on in science, so that we can work collaboratively. So she'll be teaching about, drawing of a flower if we're doing learning about plants in science or 3D shapes. She'll do something with that in art. And I don't know if this is exactly what you were asking about, but for example, as a grade level team, when we decided, well, what are some areas that we're noticing the children are having difficulty with? Your children are having difficulty with writing. Okay, mine are, struggling a little bit with math, but why don't we switch? And I know for a while we did it, we'll say for 2 weeks, and this was an idea decided amongst the kindergarten team. All right, I'll come into your room for, 30 minutes. I'll do a specific writing lesson, and you'll do a specific math lesson in my room, and we'll see how it goes for 2 weeks. So just like I said, trial and error, and that was decided on a grade level team, and it was really good. It was different. It was a nice change, and I think it worked well.
Good to see some different kids for a while.
Yeah, we did. Good to see different kids for a while.
Made you appreciate your own.
Good to be in a different classroom,
Especially in kindergarten, right?
Yeah, exactly. Who are these people?
where they're still like, oh, this is someone new,
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, we just sort of touched about it, but how are these contributions then, contributions and achievements effectively communicated to the staff, students, and community? So we just talked about it a little bit about how, Sue will come up and say something to you or, email you or touch on it or whatever. How else is it done? And obviously, I know this a little bit because I'll get the building-wide emails or I'll see things, but I don't often see anything in the classrooms. If it's a special area thing, I may see it, or Eric and I may talk about it, or if it's something, the three of us are kind of in our own world down there. So how are things then communicated, whatever, through classroom teachers? In the same way? I mean, obviously, like I said, obviously I see the emails and I talk to these guys, but I don't see you guys during the day when you're doing what you do.
Sue has a system, which I think many administrators have, but with her it's a little more personable. We have the PLC system. So you have the PLC leaders, who she communicates with for every single grade level.
Okay.
Those leaders then go down and communicate to their grade levels. But I will say Sue makes a conscious effort to kind of make stops here and there, like, hey, make sure you see your PLC leader, or when you get a chance, discuss this with so-and-so. I spoke to Takwa, or I spoke to this person. So she does, despite the fact that she does tell your PLC leader and she expects that trickle-down approach to go to, but she still does go out of her way to be like, Dad, when you get a chance, talk to Allison about this, or make sure you see Takwa about that. So she makes it known to you. She doesn't just wait till that PLC meeting for you to do it. She'll let you know that there's something coming.
Got it. And are you guys then, for the PLC leaders, is that something you're volunteering for, or is that something that you lose the draw on? I mean, how does that get worked out between your grade levels?
Every year it's a different person.
Yeah.
So
everybody
it just
take a
rotates,
turn.
or?
It just rotates, yeah.
Everybody gets a turn.
Yeah, everybody gets a turn, and I don't think specifically like, oh, I don't know if somebody like can volunteer for it, and okay, this person did it last year, I'll do it this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know in some grade levels, teachers want to do it 2 years in a row just to get the SBCEs.
Yes.
Because you do
Oh,
get
okay,
those
sure.
for that.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, that makes sense.
sometimes you may have, 2 years in a row.
All right. And then how, we were talking about the strategies and the things that we support the vision with, how are those then communicated with the community? Other than, like, obviously with the STEAM Expo, we tried to draw as many people in as we could. For the math day, we tried to draw as many people in as we could.
Yeah.
Even for like the fun run we do, but
Yeah.
not to that extent.
Well,
Yeah.
you even have the choir concerts, the spring
Sure,
concerts.
yeah.
That brings in the community, so,
Yeah.
and they come into the school, and they can just walk through the halls and see exactly what has been done by the students, and they can see the improvements from in the fall, coming in, and dropping their kids off, and when you have a spring concert, or you have a fun run. STEAM Expo.
That's what's interesting is, like when I take my kids to school, I'll go in and I can't go into the school without seeing 100 other parents. When I walk around here, I don't really see anybody. And so, like we talked about the STEAM Expo, your concerts, the math day, I know that we do everything we can to get the parents in here. And even then, it doesn't always work out really well. Is there something else that we do or some other way that we can get them to sort of, like, the STEAM Expo is a great example because they can walk in the door and see, wow, now I see what they're doing. Whereas, the music, they can come in and see, hey, that was awesome. Where if they come in for a math day, they look at me and they shake their head because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So those two are great examples, but what do we do to sort of include that?
We also teach 2 lessons.
Yes.
One in the fall and one in the spring.
Yes.
For
In our
oh, is
classroom.
that the parent day or whatever?
Yep.
Okay.
In our classroom.
And you have your PFSO.
Yeah, PFSO, yeah. But yeah, like
That have
Gina was
meetings
saying,
on
we teach
Fridays.
them a lesson that they can do with their children. We supply
do
the
that.
materials.
Yep.
They do it with them in the classroom then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so we do like language arts and then a math.
And then a math. And we do the same thing. I think every grade level does that. So we invite the parents in, and we do like a little mini lesson with the kids so they can see kind of how we're teaching them and let them know, this is what we're working on. And then it's kind of like a mini workshop, I guess you can say. And then, this is an activity, and here's the material, and now you can do it with your child.
At home. They do it. They practice
They do it in the
class,
classroom,
and then they take
they
it home.
also, this is also something for you to go home and can continue to work with your children. So I think we try really hard to also let parents know exactly what it is that we're doing in the classroom so that they can help their children at home too.
Also during parent-teacher conferences, like I have file folders for each child, so they put their work in there, and then they share like their favorite 3 pieces to their parents, and so that gives them an idea too of what we're doing in class.
And you also have all the parents that come in the morning and congregate in the halls, and they do talk about what is going on in school, and many times they have concerns, and they do go to the principal or the office, and things are explained to the parents on why it has to be done a certain way, or why our school does things a certain way.
Yeah.
Well, too, you have to understand, and it's very different than Harvest, obviously, where your kids go. The students and the parents that we deal with are students that are coming from an impoverished country, children that are coming, and people that are coming from either a place of war or a place of where they never had full running electricity or water. And when they come into this building, it's a learning experience for their kids, and it's a learning experience for them. And so we're considered a revolving door in Dearborn. When we bring in the kids, we're bringing in the parents, and we're educating both. So we have to tackle 2 things. And then, so you don't see parents in as much as you would see in any building, because number one, there's a level of fear for everybody here. Not just talking about the kids, but their parents. They don't know exactly what their rights are. They don't know if they're in the way, if they're not in the way. They don't speak the language. They don't really read. Not many of them are literate in either language. And so with Sue being new, with any new administrator, you have to tackle building that trust. And because this is a completely different culture, a different religion completely, Sue, I think, has done an outstanding job. When you're talking about ways, there's no over communication with her. When I think about it, because Nimit was here, I got phone calls. You got those automated phone calls.
Yes.
I got letters left and right, talking about it on the PA system all the time. She's communicative. She is constantly seeking out parents to come in. And I think with her, I think she's learned this year that things such as the STEAM Expo and the choir and things where parents can observe rather than necessarily be totally immersed and involved, because again, you can't bring them in and want them to participate in some type of reading and writing.
They can take it in from a distance.
Yes,
Yes.
And I think that's intimidating. And so the lack of involvement that we have isn't personal, and it isn't necessarily even because they don't want to, but it's because it's like, oh, they want me to go in there for math day. I don't know what math day is.
I get it.
And,
I mean, if I lived here, I probably wouldn't come in because I would have no idea
what
was
was going on.
I get it.
And it's a different, it's a different experience. It's more to kind of like teacher knows best, and this is like your job, and so it's not more that they don't want to participate. It's really
cultural
like,
too.
It's a cultural thing.
You
Because
have
within the Middle Eastern culture, the teacher
Is
is
valued.
valued on a level where if a parent, if a teacher comes to a parent and says, my child did this, I mean, it's regarded as something, it's huge. And so they trust you so much to the point where it looks like there's a lack of involvement. Where in fact, it's like, oh, dude, I trust you. If you got to beat them down, beat them down. I mean, that's what they,
And
that's what they
Sure,
feel.
yeah.
You know, and so there has to be an understanding of the culture. There has to be an understanding of the people. And then again, remembering that this is a revolving door. Because if you think about all the kids that we've taught, and the ones that end up leaving this area are the ones who have learned how to basically live out in regular society, and they've been able to gradually transition into that lifestyle to American society, so they've assimilated better, and then they leave. But then what happens? New ones from the countries come in, and so that's it. And so that teaching is constant, it's endless, and at times exhausting because you don't necessarily see the fruits of your labor.
Well, it's interesting because Eric and I at the end of the year and I think we talked about it too. We probably talked about it, but we always say, "Oh man, so and so left the building. Oh, we lost another good one," which is exactly that. The family has gotten to a point where they're like,
they
"Okay,
can be free.
we can go
they can
elsewhere."
fly like
Sure,
doves,
yeah.
They
So
feel
yeah,
like
that's
they can do it on
interesting.
their
We
own.
talk about that every year.
You have an environment where the children, the students, are more aware of what's going on in this school than the parents do.
Yes.
And that is probably a very good reason why the parents aren't coming to the school. Their students aren't going to go home and talk about school.
Right.
They want to go and play.
Yeah,
They want
right.
to have dinner. They want to be with their family members. And that is sometimes why the parents just aren't around.
And I know that because we don't always see it, but I know that it's happening, and it could be even more than what I'm thinking. But I'm assuming it's on a monthly basis. Sue has meetings.
Yes.
Where she invites.
Oh, the parent meetings?
The parent meetings, where all the parents are invited, and then Senat, the parent liaison, is with her, and they discuss.
Those are in the gym.
Those are in the gym.
Yes,
FYI.
they have.
You should know.
I know exactly where those
Yeah.
are.
I mean, they have nutrition
Yes.
Okay.
meetings,
Classes.
sanitation,
Yeah.
Diet and exercise.
diet and
Every
exercise.
month
Yes,
it's a different
a
thing.
lot
Yes.
of everyday things that we take for granted.
Yes.
So we're actually doing a lot to get them
In the
Because the thing
community.
is, I just
Yes.
don't ever see
Yes.
that side of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't get the calls. I don't get
I mean,
the auto prompts.
we also have the dentist coming.
Also in the gym.
eye,
Yeah.
eye
Yeah,
doctor,
just
and hearing. And I think that the parents could be more involved with that, but I don't know if these companies that are coming in to do this want the parent volunteers to
Sure.
be there. But that might be a way of getting the parents more involved in the school.
Could
But-
there be more involvement? Absolutely. But we have to tackle the thing. We have
What
to
we have
control
in front of
the
us.
controllables.
Yeah.
And then from there, again, we educate parents as well as we educate kids. It's
Sure.
like we do double the work in this building. It's great work, but it's a lot of work. Twitch.
All right, so how does the campus use innovative thinking, risk-taking, or failures as a learning experience to promote the campus vision? And I think, Gina, you talked about it before where, certainly with us, I know Sue is okay with us taking risks. And that being the case, sort of the trickle-down, like, I don't care if a kid makes a mistake. If they're trying something, more power to them. I'd love to see a kid try and be horrible than not do it. But what are we doing then as far as risk-taking or failures?
Well,
as
I mean, I
learning
think a great
experiences?
example this year was Dad bringing the expo.
Team Expo,
And
yeah.
That was,
Absolutely.
that was
I mean, that was a failure.
We didn't know how it was going to become.
Yeah, we
And
didn't know.
Here
It
we
was-
tackled this huge,
No, absolutely. Yeah.
huge assignment that we thought we really could not do because it was just asking, we thought at the time asking too much and oh my God, how are we going to fit this in? But it turned out to be
Spectacular.
spectacular.
Even if it
experience.
would have failed, there were kids that were so happy with the things that
Yeah.
they made and that they discovered. So even if it was a failure, you had, if one kid was happy about what they made or what they did, it was worth all your time.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're never going to forget that.
That's
They're
right.
never gonna
That's
forget
right.
what
There have
they
been
made.
things that I still remember from elementary school that we had that was a lot of work, but it was fun.
And I know that taking the risk, as great as it is, I know we're already looking at how can we make it even bigger and better next
Yes.
year. So we've learned a lot from it. We know what we could do differently. There's many great ideas being shot down, like what we could do next year. But in terms of risk taking, I don't think that risk is even in Sue's vocabulary. You want to do something, you want to try something, go ahead, do it. Oh, if you failed, oh, big deal, do something else. Like there's
Well, we'll try this next time.
You're not really afraid to do anything, and
it's
you're
not
not
a
afraid to
problem.
come back and say, oh, look, I screwed this up. She doesn't look at it like a screw up because there's a learning.
No,
that
you
happens.
learn from your
And
mistakes and you grow. You grow
Yeah, there's growth.
from mistakes.
Yeah, no, that's true. So what processes are used in improving morale, which moves the campus toward the realization of the campus vision? Now, obviously, I know for Sue, I mean, she's so far beyond kind and polite and fantastic to work for. So that's the obvious answer. But what else does anybody in the building do, or do we do for each other? I don't really do for anybody, but what does anybody else do for each other?
No, you do a lot.
Yes.
Stop being you do a
Well,
lot.
yes, because the teachers rely on you when they need extra time in their classroom or with each other. You are more than happy to take their class, and with the combination of another class. Eric has done that, and you two have gotten together to do that, and that helps out immensely for the teachers.
And that helps staff morale too,
Yeah.
because we will do anything for each other.
Yes,
Yeah.
and when you
Anytime.
have
When
good
you have that,
when you have
do
good
that.
morale on a campus, whether it's in a factory or school or anywhere, you collaborate with each other. There's more cooperation, and the more of that you have, the higher your morale goes. It just keeps moving along and moving higher.
And I think too, one of the things that for me was touching was that I remember when the whole lemonade stand started. I may not have said this to you guys, I may have, and I'll probably only say it once, so don't ever expect me to say it
Get
again.
this. Get this.
But I remember when I last minute said, I want to make a lemonade stand. Like, this is what I want. There's this book. This is what I want to do. And Scott, you looked at me like, oh my God, Dad, what are you doing again?
Again.
And in the midst of, several weeks before the STEAM Expo. And I said, this is what I want. And I said, Scott, build me a lemonade stand. And you wanted to kill me. And then I said, Eric, I want you to read this book. And then Eric was like, yeah, I'll read it to every single kid. I mean, when you think about that, I intended on touching 22 kids, tops, in my classroom. That's what I intended. By the end of that entire project, 500 plus kids learned about a girl that was dying from cancer, donated money to the Children's Hospital, built a lemonade stand, participated in a contest to decorate it. I mean, all because of you two. All I did was give you a book, and I told you
And
build
me a job.
me a lemonade stand, and you both painted, and it just, that to me, if anything, it was like, wow, it could have just hit 22 kids in my room, but you impacted an entire school. And wait till next year. I mean, when you are building go-karts, I have ideas about go-karts.
Oh, man.
You have
Go-karts.
no idea.
Engines are not my forte.
But listen, it's
Go-kart doesn't have an engine, so you're all set.
there you go. But the morale in the building changed because of also you know, you guys did that. It makes me
Right.
like Gina more, and I, just because, you know.
Well, and I just feel that we just feel so comfortable. Like I can go in your room at any
Ask
time
me,
and ask you
yeah.
for anything, or
Right.
I can
Yeah,
bother
there's,
you.
it's a non-threat,
It's- and I
don't
think we,
feel,
you know, we
there's
all
no
feel like
intimidation.
none at all.
And it can
And-
only get better.
Yeah, and I think so too, like, we're in an environment where we have to practice what we preach.
Yeah.
So if we're teaching children character education and to respect one another and all this stuff, well, then we have to practice that amongst ourselves too. You know, show respect
But
to
do
one
you
another.
notice? Do you notice
Yes.
this year? And I swear I noticed that kids are walking by and they're high-fiving each other. I mean, that's something that we're doing more, and they're emulating that. They're copying, or they're giving high fives and pats on the back. They're smiling more. They're saying good morning here and there. You know what I mean? So,
I have more kids talking to me now at
Yeah.
breakfast than I've ever had the last 2 years. I mean, they tell me things they shouldn't, about home life, but they're saying, "Good morning, Miss Debbie.
Yes.
What are we having for lunch today?"
yeah, the line of
And
communication.
that, yes, they see other people around the school talking, and they're emulating us.
You know, it's when I was at the high school, it was interesting because high schools and middle schools they're just a different beast.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of has their own area, and morale's not really an issue because I have my room and you have your room, and I might see you before school and after school, but that's it. I came here, and the first year I talked to Gina, and I talked to you a little bit, but Gina was really the only person I talked to for the first 3 years.
And then you got Famia and
And
Bahia.
then Famia and Bahia came in, and I started talking with them. And now it's, I love everybody here, and it's great. But
it's like if you don't see someone, like
Yeah.
if I don't see someone from upstairs one day, you feel like you're missing something.
Yeah, it's just, and the building's probably always been like that. I don't know, but I didn't go out of my way to figure that out. I went out of my way to not figure that out and just say, okay, let me just assess the situation. But now, I come in the morning, and I drive the 40 minutes or whatever because I like it, not because I have to go to work. No, you guys are great to work with. So I come in, and I prefer not to build lemonade stands.
Go cards.
Well, I remember even before I got hired into this building, I remember subbing. And I remember going into different buildings where no one would even
Say good morning.
good morning or hi to me.
Right.
And I'm thinking, when is this day going to be over? Like, I just want to be in the classroom, do my job, and
Yes.
leave. People will pass by, not even say good morning, hi, how are you? And
Yes.
this has happened to me, in numerous buildings too.
Yes.
And I remember coming into Salina as a sub, and where it's a totally different feeling from when you walk into the office. There's somebody. What a difference it makes when, as soon as you walk in, someone's there to say like good morning or greet you,
Such a
or
welcoming
it's
atmosphere.
a welcoming atmosphere, And so you're reminded like, well, this
And I
is the way.
developed the hugs,
Yeah.
so now everybody's hugging everybody.
Yeah.
You
and
feel
that's
like
what-
you're coming home.
Yeah.
You do.
It's
You
your
feel like you're coming
And you
home.
miss people during the summer.
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
I cry all the time. Like it's depression. Not you so much, but like I think about everyone else.
And that's like I see. And again, once the day starts and I'm in the gym, I don't see a lot outside it.
Yeah.
But Sue will cut through the gym all the time on her way to stop. I don't know if she stops in everybody's class.
stops
every
at
day.
Yes,
every
she
single
I
stops
didn't say, but I always
everywhere.
see her cut
Every
through
day.
and then start working her way around.
Yes.
Just to come in, say good morning, give out a hug to the teacher, say hi to the kids.
She comes to the kitchen every day.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
She ignores me, but she says hi to everybody else.
Yeah.
That, to me, seeing that is impressive.
Yeah.
And
Every day.
I have nothing to do with
And
it.
you don't try to hide from her.
Yeah, no, she'll hunt you down. She's like a
Well,
fox.
I'm just
Well, you
saying,
don't,
there were times when you did try
You'd
to be
see
busy.
someone in the hall and you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you-
that's just a reminder right there. Like, say good morning to people, say hello.
Yeah.
Like she takes time out of her day, just to that makes me want to take time out of my day, like
Yeah,
during
really.
my prep, just
And
to
her
stop by
door
and say,
is rarely closed.
She'll let you know.
She'll let you
send
know.
you an email.
Yes.
She'll
Yeah.
say, I'm
She'll be
closing
like,
it
I'm doing it,
because
yeah.
but
Yeah.
if you need me, come get me.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe.
If
Yes.
you need me, though.
Yeah.
Just
And
say-
like-
Yeah. And even when it's closed, it's
Yeah.
not closed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like you said, I think they happen twice a year.
That's it.
Or else it's always an open door policy. And I think that's what we have in this building too.
Yeah.
An open door policy for parents, for everyone.
She understands we're humans. Like, we have lives outside of work too.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah, it's like one time she walked in, and not that, you're on your cell phone ever, but I remember one time my mom was texting me about Amanda having an asthma attack, and Sue walked in, and I literally was like, 1 second, and I was on my phone texting, trying to get my mom to put the nebulizer together and all that good stuff, and she was like, oh, I'll just come back when you're ready. Like, she didn't stop and be like, oh, are you on your
Yeah,
phone?
yeah.
Are you? And to me, it's like, you're never on your phone, but
She understands.
there's that moment when you need to be,
Yeah.
and she doesn't look at you like, why are you on it? She assumes the best in you, and that if you're on it, you're on
There's
it for
a reason.
Yeah.
There's
you're
a
not
problem.
on it because you're whatever. You're on there because you need to be on it. And so I just remember when she walked out of the room that day, I was like, oh my God, that was so rude of me. So I went to her later and I was like, sorry, I kind of, shooed you off. She was like, no, I understand. You need to be on that phone. And I was like, who, like, God.
Right, who does that?
And when you're at the end of the day, when you're around good people, you want to be good. Honestly, I just remember shooting her an email because simply my husband was going to be away for 6 weeks, and so I was going to be a single parent for those 6 weeks, and I knew it was going to be difficult.
Yes, yes.
So I just wanted her to know, hey,
Heads up.
heads up. If I ever need to, if I'm ever running late, or if I ever need to leave early, or if I ever look panicked or frightened, just know it's because she communicates that well with you too. If there's something going on in your life, let me know. And this year was a huge transition for my family. My husband permanently got laid off from his job. Like I said, he went away for 6 weeks. So I mean that affects a person in some way, So I needed to communicate with her, and I just remember her constantly coming up to me. If you need anything, let me know. And even this one time, she was like, give me your husband's resume, and I can see if And I'm thinking, really?
Nice.
Just out of her way. And is everything okay? Do you need? And even after he came back, she was just like, so is he back? How's everything going? And if you ever just constantly, and I'm thinking, I can't even remember. She still remembers, like
Yeah.
2 weeks went by,
Yeah, it
3
doesn't
weeks
go
went by,
away.
a month went by. She still remembers. She'll come in. If you need anything, let me know. She'll send me an email, just thinking about you, hoping everything is well. Like, that's just so wonderful.
I say we send her a card.
I'm in.
But really, when you have such a strong leader with great, morals and things like that, it really trickles down to everyone else. Bottom line, it makes you want to be a better person.
Everybody but Eric.
I see the best in everybody except you, Scott. But I mean, I'm getting
understood.
there. It's getting there.
I think that if Sue left, I think that we would still do the same thing. I think we would still talk to each other and communicate and
Well,
be
we built
kind
that relationship,
and be
absolutely.
kind to each other. And I think that a new leader, principal, would learn from us if they weren't already like that.
Certainly
I think
a lot
they,
of it, yeah.
And it's funny because she says that though. If you listen to her, that's exactly what she says. You taught me.
Yes.
What a wonderful step. I really
Yes.
she says, I'm so honored to be a part of this family. Like
She is
I
She
came
didn't
thrilled.
know
in.
that at her other
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
She is thrilled. Well, her other 4 schools that she
Yeah.
was at.
Yeah, so
She
this
is
is a
just
different
thrilled to
experience
be
for
here.
her.
She tells me all the time, where do you get this food? She's just thrilled that I have fresh vegetables and fruit. And I always thought everybody had fresh vegetables and fruit, but I guess not. And she said, everything looks good, nothing's burnt, nothing, and I'm thinking, oh, it's school food, it's institutional food, it's the best I can do with what I have and the guidelines we get from the government. But she's so thrilled we have fresh fruit and vegetables.
It's like I tell Eric quite often, I'm like, it takes so little to make people happy.
It really does.
It's like she'll come down and say, we were laughing one day because, I'll be honest, at the end of the year, we're like, ugh. So we combined some classes, so we had a longer lunch. She came out, she's like, well, who's the class? So we told her the class, oh, thank you so much. And she walked out, we're like, yeah, no problem. We're just like, what?
Yeah.
So it takes so little to make people happy. And she does it, and then all you want to do is turn around and do it back.
And she's so worried about changing lunch times. It doesn't matter. The food's here. Just have them come down when they can come down. It's not a big deal. I don't mind, so we're a little later or a little earlier. I mean, the food is there. I have to make so much to feed everybody. It doesn't matter when the
Right,
kids
one
come
way or the
down.
other.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, I sincerely appreciate it. I will see you all in about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Probably.
We'll be
right-
here.
Probably right here.
Try to-
I know you three will be here.
Make it in the morning.
Well, okay. What time is the summer school?
It's
8 to 12?
8 to 12,
Okay.
or 8:30 to 12.
It's 8:30.
Yeah. 8:30
Because
to
I
12.
have
Whatever.
breakfast at 8:15.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
could do that.
We'll figure it out.
We could do it
I'll
right
hook you to
after.
it. Okay. All right.
That's fine.
Well, thank you.
You're
You're
very
welcome.
welcome.
Did you get enough?
Oh, there's plenty.